So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Heather Bitts, and I am the Executive Director at the Drumheller and District Chamber of Commerce, and it's great to have you all online today. As you may know, Salopek and Associates is one of our value affinity partners offering expert HR and business consulting services to support our local businesses. Today, they will be sharing their insights on a topic that is top of mind for many organizations, unlocking secrets to attracting and retaining top talent. We are thrilled to have two incredible presenters with us this afternoon. Janyce Rideout is a highly accomplished HR business partner with extensive experience in strategic planning, training and development, recruitment, occupational health and safety, and internal communications. With over 18 years in the hospitality industry and experience across multiple sectors, Janyce is passionate about building high-performing teams and fostering strong workplace cultures. She holds an MBA from the Haskins School of Business at the University of Calgary and several professional designations, including Certified Talent Management Practitioner, CTMP, and Psychological Health and Safety Professional, PHSP. So welcome, Janyce. And we also have Kate Ashton with us. Kate is the Executive Partner of Consulting Services at Salopek Associates, leading a team of HR and business professionals across Canada. With 20 years experience in senior HR roles spanning industries such as health and wellness, technology, hospitality, and the energy sector, Kate is a trusted advisor in optimizing workplace experiences and helping organizations become employers of choice. She specializes in employee relations, employment law, change management, talent management, and more. Kate holds a Bachelor of Arts in Anthropology from the University of Calgary and multiple professional designations as well, including CPHR, Organizational Change Management Professional, OCMP, and CTMP as well. Throughout the presentation, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Our presenters will address them as they relate to the discussion, and don't worry if your question isn't answered right away. There will be time at the end of the session for further Q&A. So with that, I will hand it over to our speakers. Please join me in welcoming Janyce Rideout and Kate Ashton.
Great. Thanks so much, Heather. And good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today for our discussion on recruitment and retention for small businesses. We're pleased to partner with the Drumheller and District Chamber of Commerce today. Throughout our session, we'll focus primarily on key HR topics that impact attracting and retaining top talent in our organizations. And we'll also touch on some aspects of occupational health and safety and how they impact employee retention. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat throughout our presentation. And as Heather mentioned, we will hope to get to everyone's questions by the end of the presentation. So for our session today, we'll be starting with recruitment and attracting top talent, including some innovative strategies, how to define your employer brand to attract top talent, how to optimize the candidate experience and the living wage in Alberta, and the effect that it can have on retention. Then we'll move on to retention in more detail. We will discuss employee retention factors and how you can work to retain your top talent. And then, as I mentioned, part of our discussion today will also talk about mental health at work and its impact on retaining and engaging productive employees. Ending with the opportunity for you to ask questions. To start off, I'd like to share a little bit about Salopek Associates and the work that we do. So we're an award-winning team of human resources and business consultants. Our consultants support clients across Canada by providing human resources and business expertise. We provide fractional human resources services, supporting organizations with all aspects of the employee life cycle, including policies, procedures, and legislation. We have provided a full list of services, but we offer, a full list of services that we offer, but a few to highlight include compensation and benefits, conflict resolution and mediation, job analysis and design, termination and risk mitigation, workplace investigations, and strategic planning. Salopek was founded in Calgary in 2006 by Janyce Salopek, and we currently support over 200 organizations in various industries across Canada and specialize in supporting the small and mid-sized company within both the for-profit and not-for-profit sectors. Our consultants are certified HR professionals, with senior consultants having over 15 years of experience. We also have specialists on our team who have received their master's degree or other advanced designations, including their CPR designations. We understand the unique needs that different industries face, and we work with our clients to design tailored approaches to help support them. Okay, we're going to get started with a survey question for the group. So Janyce is going to pull up a Teams poll, so hopefully everybody will have access to it. Please take a minute to type in your response to this question. What are your top recruitment and retention challenges? So feel free to add multiple responses. You'll see them come up in a cloud as everyone starts to submit their responses. Following our session, we're going to take a look at everything that everyone puts in now, and then following our session, if there's anything specifically that we don't cover, we'll make sure that we can touch on it at the end.
And Kate, we might just want to make sure everybody can see the presentation. I did see a few comments in the chat.
So they were saying they can't see the presentation?
Yeah, is everyone okay being able to see now? I think, yeah, we must be good. I mean, we're getting some answers in the poll, so that's good news.
Okay, I'm sharing it through the Teams presentation. So if that is restricting certain people's visibility, please let me know and I can switch to do just a standard screen share.
Okay, I think they're going to try on a different device, so okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the bigger the words in our word cloud, if everybody can see this, are the words that are being added multiple times. So right now we see housing, we see wages, skills, retention, wages again, contract positions. That's great. Candidate pool, retention. We'll give it another couple seconds here just for anybody else adding. Also going to take a screenshot of that so that I can refer back after.
Yeah, wages is definitely popping out as the biggest one there.
Great. Okay. So contract positions, retention, wages, housing, reliability, candidate pool, job for spouse. Okay, that's interesting. And skills. Okay, fantastic. Great. So we're going to close the poll. You may need to just X out of it if it doesn't automatically close for you, and then we'll continue on in our presentation. So I think we will touch on a lot of these pieces throughout our presentation. And as mentioned, we can kind of have some further discussion on any areas. Housing is one for sure that I don't think we specifically touch on, but if there's time at the end, we can maybe have some open dialogue to discuss those aspects specifically that we might not cover in our presentation. So thanks for everyone's participation there. Okay, so let's get started. We understand that small business needs may be unique, and maybe you're competing for talent in a competitive market. People are your biggest asset. You rely on the passion and commitment of your employees to make your business successful, so maintaining high levels of engagement and low turnover is crucial for this success. Your industry or certain positions within your company may experience fluctuating retention and demands, which can result in an inconsistent workforce stability, leading to high turnover. High turnover makes it complicated to build a cohesive team and maintain consistent quality and productivity. So financial resources may be limited, making it difficult to offer competitive compensation and attract and retain top talent. You may be dealing with challenging people issues, including employee mental health and struggles to maintain employee engagement. Small businesses typically have limited to no internal HR expertise or resources that can pose a challenge. We also understand that no day is ever the same. Pivoting and adjusting to the needs of your business is part of your everyday life for you and your employees. Ensuring the health and safety of employees is important, but certain industries can take a larger toll on employee mental health or have additional physical safety requirements. Occupational health and safety is critical, but can be resource intensive for small businesses to manage. So next, so ensuring the health and safety of employees is important. But as I mentioned, resources can be intensive, and it is difficult when you are a small business. So for talent acquisition, finding and retaining skilled employees and specialized talent can be challenging, as competition for these individuals can be fierce. And we'll be addressing a number of the unique needs in the presentation today with a focus on strategies around recruitment and retention. So next, Janyce will take us through some innovative recruitment strategies.
Great, thank you, Kate. So we have some suggestions here of different recruitment strategies that you might want to consider to implement, understanding that both you have unique needs for your workforces and challenges that you may face in finding that qualified staff. So we have some different approaches. They include community partnerships, networking, and targeted search, hosting events and attending open houses, the focus on employer branding and culture promotion, offering flexible benefits and unique perks for your employees, creating referral programs and having retention incentives in place, having inclusive and accessible hiring practices, leveraging technology and virtual hiring tools, and engaging with specialized platforms and niche job boards. So we're going to spend some time talking about each one of those categories in a little more detail. To start off, we're going to talk about community partnerships, networking, and targeted search. So some ideas here would be things like collaborating with local institutions, really partnering with local colleges, universities, trade schools, Indigenous organizations to tap into those emerging talent pools. Many of these institutions are eager to set up internship programs, create job fairs, have co-op placements, which can provide the businesses with a pool of pre-screened candidates. And in some cases, there's job grants available as well. And those job grants can help subsidize wages. So for one example of that would be the federal student work placement program that's in place. And these programs are really helpful because not only will they help you attract potential employees, but can also make it affordable to bring on new staff for your team. Another thing in this category that you could consider would be engaging with community organizations. So working with your local community groups, especially in smaller towns, can really help you reach individuals who might not actively be looking for work. So they're maybe not on those traditional job boards seeking out work, but they're part of those community organization networks, and you can reach them that way. Other ideas would be attending local career fairs. So you can either host a career fair or participate in some of those smaller regional career fairs that are happening, and can really help you tap into those different talent pools. They can help you connect with that local talent directly and build your brand and brand recognition and build your reputation as a committed employer in the community. This is a really timely suggestion because I know many of you are going to be participating in the upcoming career fair that's hosted with the Chamber in a few weeks. So, definitely something to consider right now. Other ideas when we talk about targeted search would be really reaching out to those passive candidates. So by that, what we mean is doing a direct outreach on LinkedIn. So if you have a specialized role, LinkedIn can be a really valuable tool. You can proactively reach out to passive candidates using personalized messages that highlight why your company is unique and why it's worth them considering working for you. So LinkedIn's an option. You can also have a paid subscription through Indeed that can provide that targeted search access as well. Another idea for targeted search would be doing a cold outreach with a personal touch. So really spending some time to identify candidates who fit with the company culture and reach out to them directly. Send them like a warm, friendly, genuine message with a personalized touch. It can make a really strong impact for a smaller company where each individual hire is significant. Our next strategy here is hosting events and open houses. So with this, there's lots of industry events and networking nights that you could host or attend to introduce your organization to prospective employees, have them understand what your company culture is all about, and kind of that informal setting. It's a really good chance for people to be able to meet your team and to see what your workplace is like as well. Another idea would be to offer job shadowing days. So you could invite prospective candidates to shadow one of your employees for a day. And this is a really unique recruitment strategy because it gives candidates that firsthand experience, which is especially attractive in smaller organizations where you're really looking for fit for the organization. And then our third strategy on this slide is employer branding and culture promotion. So recruitment marketing and employer branding are really an integral role for an employer to stand out in the crowd. So within your job postings and employment branding, you really want to showcase your organization's purpose and the impact that you're making in the community. It's good to be using testimonials, videos, and storytelling from your current employees or your clients to showcase the difference that your organization is making in people's lives. Other ideas would be to focus on social media campaigns. So really leveraging those platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook to target potential candidates and provide engaging content that highlights your company culture, your unique selling proposition, and employee success stories. Lastly, here is really highlighting how you're an employer of choice and what your initiatives are in that regard. So invest in improving your organization's reputation as an employer of choice. So you can offer things like competitive benefits, professional development opportunities, and recognize the contributions of your team. And highlighting any awards or certifications that your organization might have, such as being a great place to work, is really great as well. And then lastly, taking time to showcase Alberta lifestyle perks. Alberta is obviously known for beautiful landscapes, outdoor activities, and our quality of life. So promoting these unique lifestyle benefits alongside your job postings can attract people from other regions or other countries that might be really interested in working in Alberta and having that work-life balance that our province can provide. You want to make sure that you have opportunity to leverage your employee testimonials. So really sharing those stories from current employees on why they love working for your company can really provide that authentic insight into your organization and can help potential hires relate to and visualize themselves working for your company and being part of your company culture. A little later on in our session today, we're going to discuss the importance of defining your employer brand in more detail and how to showcase it as part of your overall recruitment strategy. Okay, so moving on to our next group of strategies here. So flexible benefits and unique perks. So things like remote and hybrid work options. So with long commutes that might happen in some regions in our province, offering that remote and hybrid work could be a big draw for potential candidates. Other ideas would be having family-friendly or pet-friendly policies in place. So flexible scheduling, such as childcare subsidies or allowing people to bring their pets to work, can be especially attractive where family lifestyle is a high priority for so many. Perhaps offering those flexible work arrangements, so flexible schedules, part-time options, or job sharing opportunities can really help attract people who may be balancing caregiver responsibilities or seeking that work-life balance. Offering mental health and wellness programs, so creating a supportive environment with access to mental health resources, counseling and wellness programs can help retain staff and also attract individuals who have a priority of that health and wellness. Offering Alberta-specific perks, so offer benefits that play to that Alberta lifestyle that I was mentioning before. So things like having ski pass discounts or maybe access to provincial parks or wellness allowances for outdoor activities are things that you can do. These perks will show that your company is really attuned to that Alberta lifestyle and having that lifestyle and the importance of it for our local employees. Professional development is also really important. So small businesses can often tailor development opportunities from specialized training to leadership development paths. Highlighting these offerings in your job descriptions and throughout the interview process can really help develop some appeal for those growth-minded candidates. Okay, our next strategy is referral programs and retention incentives. So having employee referral programs in place, so looking at your current employees, they definitely can often be the best recruiters for your organization. So offering incentives for employees who refer qualified candidates can help you reach those passive candidates that might not be actively looking for work. Another idea would be to have alumni engagement, so keeping connections with former employees who may consider returning to your place of employment or referring other people can be really critical. So small businesses, often will see that they lose talent to the larger companies, but if you keep engagement with alumni and keeping them connected to the organization, it could lead to those boomerang or referral hires. So the last strategy on this slide is inclusive and accessible hiring practices. So using innovative and inclusive job posting and titles is really important. So crafting those compelling job descriptions. And in those job descriptions, you want to highlight growth opportunities, the professional development, those unique perks. Small businesses can often offer roles that have more diversity and responsibility. So if that's the case, really making sure you're emphasizing these points in those job descriptions. Another idea would be to experiment with job titles. So consider using unique and appealing titles that might attract different types of candidates. So for example, maybe instead of posting for a sales associate, you're going to post for a growth specialist. You want to make sure that if there's opportunity to include any Alberta specific language to signal that you're invested in the region, that you do that as well in those job titles. With the job postings, we want to make sure they're inclusive. So ensuring that they're accessible and inclusive, emphasizing your organization and the value that you have on diversity is really important. So using plain language and being clear about accommodations available for all employees with disabilities is important to be included in our postings. You want to make sure that you're avoiding bias in job titles. So making sure the titles are gender neutral and they don't reflect age, race, or any cultural bias. And then you want to make sure that there's accommodation in the recruitment process. So make sure the process is accessible for candidates with disabilities. You can provide alternative formats for the job applications, accessible interview locations, and adaptive technologies where necessary. And in our job postings, we want to make sure that we're focusing on essential requirements. So distinguishing between the must-haves and the nice-to-have skills. So job postings that list too many requirements may discourage candidates from applying if they feel that they don't have every one of the qualifications listed. So some things to consider would be offering skills training. So what can you train on the job versus what's required for the person to have when they start the role? And you want to make sure you're clear on the job posting so that it won't deter any potential candidates. You want to make sure that you're tapping into those diverse candidate pools. So actively seek out candidates from underrepresented communities, which would include Indigenous peoples, recent immigrants, and people with disability. And by connecting with community groups, you can use specialized job boards to do so. So things like tapping into abilities.ca or Indigenous Leap can help you find those different candidate pools. Right. And then our final two strategies that we wanted to share with you today are leveraging those technology and virtual hiring tools can be really effective. So using tools like video interviews, virtual office tours, real-time project demonstrations can help attract candidates who appreciate virtual flexibility. You could use virtual career fairs, webinars, and video to broaden your reach, especially when you're recruiting from remote or underserved areas. It also accommodates the potential for candidates who may face transportation or mobility issues. AI technology can also help us, with our job search and recruiting candidates. AI can assist with crafting job postings and job descriptions, and it can also assist with developing interview questions and reference check questions. So it can be really quite helpful throughout the whole process. And then our final strategy is engaging with specialized platforms and niche job boards. So consider posting on Alberta-centric job boards and platforms such as Alberta Job Bank, local municipal sites, or specialized boards for industries like not-for-profit, hospitality, or construction. You can try posting on professional association job boards for roles that require professional designations like a CPA or engineer. And you can leverage specific groups on social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, or industry-specific forums to really reach those talent in relevant fields. You can engage with digital and in-person communities such as Meetup and LinkedIn groups related to your industry, and that's an opportunity to get to know potential candidates who are actively interested in relevant topics to your business. Okay, so that was our strategies, and I'm going to turn it back over to Kate to carry on.
Great, thanks, Janyce. So we're actually going to do another poll for our group. So I'd love to hear from you all, based on the examples that we just shared, what strategies would you like to try when you're faced with your next recruitment challenge? Which of these really spoke to you? So we'll give you just a minute or two here to go ahead and add them into the poll. Oh, great. Leverage job branding. Great, leveraging technology, virtual hiring. It's great to see a wide variety of responses from the group because it means that there was a lot of different ideas that Janyce has covered off, but it's not necessarily going to be relevant or necessarily apply to absolutely every single business. So it's good to see the variety that that participants are seeing that they're going to be able to take from this.
And
So
Kate, we
job
had a
post.
question
Oh, yeah,
in the
go ahead.
chat that popped up. So the question is, in targeted search, how do you find candidates to reach out to?
Yeah, so great question. So targeted search is where you are leveraging certain platforms to be able to go in searching for specific criteria that you're looking for in that ideal candidate. So for example, leveraging a platform like LinkedIn to be able to use search criteria for, let's say, a certain type of like qualification, individuals who have worked in certain industries or for other certain, let's say, competing organizations. You can actually put searches in that will draw other like individuals within LinkedIn up to your attention. And then what you can do is potentially reach out to them to actually share your job posting with them. And we consider that a passive candidate because that person isn't necessarily actively searching, and therefore they wouldn't be someone who would necessarily come through your job postings that you have online. So by going and seeking out these individuals that have those right qualifications, you're actually drawing them in potentially to your talent pipeline. So that's just one example. Sometimes if you don't have a great network already established within LinkedIn, you may have limited search options. But we have, for example, we have our recruitment specialists who actually have extensive networks. And so they're able to utilize those search tools for their clients for recruitment efforts as well. But Indeed also has, for the additional paid subscription, you can also have quite a deep access point to their search engines to, again, seek out specific candidates that are sitting within their system that might be a good fit for a specific role. And it's someone who, again, isn't necessarily actively looking. So hopefully that helps. Great. So as we work to close the poll, it's great to see a number of variety of different different ideas that individuals have found they might be able to take away and put into practice. Okay, so again, if the poll doesn't automatically close for you, you can go ahead and just X out. So next, we're going to be talking about attracting employees by defining your employment brand. So it's critical to establish a strong employment brand for attracting top talent and volunteers and to maintain a positive company reputation. So an employment brand reflects your organization's values, culture, and provides people with a sense of what it's like to work there. So to create a compelling employment brand for recruitment, it's important to first define your brand identity. So understand your company's values, mission, and culture, and have these laid out during onboarding and throughout your recruitment process, so you're attracting potential candidates who align with your mission, your vision, and values. So determine what sets your company apart from competitors. So as an employer of choice, what is your employee value proposition? This should be a core message that defines what employees can expect from your organization. Identify the qualities and experiences you want to convey to potential candidates. Gathering employee feedback and involvement is crucial. Involve your current employees in the process. Their insights can help define your employer brand and make sure that it's relevant to the organization. Conduct employee surveys and focus groups to gather this feedback on what it's like to work at your organization. Make your employees brand ambassadors so they can go out and promote your employment brand to the public. So craft a clear message. Develop a clear and compelling employee value proposition. So clear and concise message that you and your team can promote. Then showcase your culture. So highlight your company's unique culture, values, and work environment through various channels like your website, social media, and job postings. Share stories and examples that illustrate your culture and showcase your team's achievements, and give a real look into the workplace so people can get a sense of what it's like to work there. Create consistent branding. So maintain a consistent brand across all communication channels, from your website and social media profiles to job postings and emails. So use consistent branding elements such as colors, logos, and tone of voice. Consider different tones across different social media channels. How you portray yourself on LinkedIn and Instagram might be different depending on the audience you're trying to attract. So optimize your careers page. Your careers page on your website is a crucial tool for recruitment. Make it user-friendly and informative, offering insights into your culture, benefits, and opportunities for development. So use compelling visuals, videos, and testimonials from current employees. Prospective candidates often trust the words of current employees more than marketing messages. So make sure you're utilizing your employees as brand ambassadors. And then last but not least, be authentic. Authenticity is key to building trust with potential candidates. Be transparent about your organization's strengths and areas for improvement. Avoid making exaggerated claims or portraying an image that doesn't align with reality. This is important for your existing employees as well as potential employees. This should be clearly reinforced by the way you conduct your daily operations. Make sure you're walking the walk, you're walking the talk and living true to your company's mission, vision, values. Then you'll want to make sure you monitor and adapt. Regularly review and adjust your employment branding efforts based on the results and feedback you receive. Keep an eye on industry trends and adjust to stay competitive. Building a strong employment brand takes time and consistent effort, but by showcasing your company values, culture, and unique offerings, you can attract candidates who are not only qualified for the job, but also align with your organization's culture. So another important aspect to keep in mind is the candidate experience. Oftentimes in organizations, the process candidates go through when applying for jobs is not always seamless. So bring it back to the basics. Ensure your process is smooth and candidates are being followed up with in a timely manner. Remember, they are interviewing the organization as much as the organization is interviewing them. So clear communication. Maintain timely and transparent communication through the hiring process to create a positive experience. Follow up when you say you will. Update candidates even if it's to say we don't have answers yet. So the application process, ensure that the application process is user-friendly and accessible, so easy to navigate, and as mentioned earlier, make sure job postings are inclusive by being accessible and emphasize that your organization's values diversity. Use plain language and be clear about accommodations available for employees with disabilities. Make sure that gender-neutral language and a focus on essential requirements distinguish between the must-haves and the nice-to-have skills. Ensure hiring managers should be well organized and prepared for a structured interview. Provide timely updates after interviews, even for unsuccessful candidates, to leave a good impression. Leaving a positive impression with an unsuccessful candidate can still positively impact your employment brand. A bad experience will do the opposite. So continuing with attraction and retention strategies, if you're not already, consider how to become a living wage employer. Why is this important? So the living wage employers experience a decrease in employee turnover and absenteeism, increased retention and productivity, savings on rehiring and retraining, and through the Living Wage Alberta, living wage employers receive public recognition for demonstrating a commitment to socially responsible practices, making them more attractive to potential employees and clients. So paying a living wage constitutes a critical investment in the long-term prosperity of the economy by fostering a dedicated, skilled, and healthy workforce. The Living Wage Employer Program recognizes and celebrates employers that pay their employees a living wage. Employees who earn a living wage experience increased mental health, physical health, and economic well-being, which are all factors that positively impact employee engagement and retention. The living wage is defined as the hourly wage a worker needs to earn to cover their basic expenses and have a modest standard of living once government transfers have been added and taxes have been subtracted. The calculation is based on the income needs of 3 household types: a 2-parent family with 2 young children, a lone parent family with 1 child, and a single individual. It assumes that each adult is working full-time hours and includes savings for unexpected costs. Continuing education, childcare, and a small amount which allows people to participate in the community. I saw just actually quickly in the note that somebody's posted the living wage for Drumheller, which is great because the Living Wage Alberta site did not specifically call out Drumheller, but Janyce, can you confirm what that number was?
$21.20 an hour.
$21.20. Okay, great. And so for comparison, you can see some other areas in that central and southern Alberta area. So $21.20 for Drumheller, we've got $24.30 in Airdrie, $18.50 Brooks, $24.45 Calgary, Drayton Valley, $19.85, High River, $21.50, Lethbridge at $20, Medicine Hat at $17.55, and Red Deer at $18.90. So you can see, depending on where you live within the province, it does vary. And so just important to really understand what that living wage means. Okay, some other strategies that you can use to attract candidates in a competitive job market and retain employees include competitive compensation and benefits. So compensation is seen in the full cycle of recruitment, attraction, and retention and should be looked at consistently. So potential candidates and employees want to be fairly compensated for their skills and contributions. Considering a living wage for lower paying roles, for skilled and in-demand roles, ensure that you're regularly benchmarking compensation to ensure you're competitive in the market. When you consider what the cost of rehiring and retraining is, it's typically more cost beneficial to pay competitively than risk losing that employee and having to go through the recruitment efforts again. So compensation doesn't just mean wage or salary. Think about total rewards, total compensation. Look at other benefits, bonuses, and other perks like paid time off that your company can offer. Think outside the box and see what your employees value. This information can be gathered during a workplace culture survey. What is important to your employees? Is it flexible work arrangements, time off, wages, health benefits, team events? Probably a combination of all of these. So health benefit plans can be customized to meet tight budgets and financial restrictions for small organizations. And there are insurance providers that understand these financial limitations and have programs set up to tailor to this. We can provide recommendations here as well. So employees value work-life balance. So organizations that support flexible work arrangements, family and pet-friendly policies, and a reasonable workload are more likely to retain employees. Where possible, offer flexibility in when and how employees work. For example, their work hours and their remote work options, whenever feasible. An understanding of personal commitments to support work-life balance is a critical component. So career and professional development, opportunities for career growth and development are essential. A candidate may be more attracted to a company if they see opportunity for advancement, skill development, and training within the organization. We also include social responsibility for attraction. Many prospective employees today want to know what their potential employer's commitment to social responsibility and sustainability is. This may include community building, so fostering a sense of community through social events, team building activities, and company traditions that strengthen employee bonds and your employment brand. So this can also stretch beyond your internal team, but also building synergy through giving back to the community. So encourage employees to participate in community service projects or volunteer opportunities, fostering a sense of purpose and connection. So employee referrals, leveraging the networks of existing employees who can refer candidates that may align with your organization's mission and vision. And offer incentives for successful referrals. Okay, so continuing on with employee retention, employees make decisions about staying with an organization based on several factors that align with their personal and professional needs and values. So these factors can include compensation and benefits, leadership and management, employee engagement, synergy, career and professional development, job security, and company culture. As we've discussed, offering a competitive total compensation package is important, but it is not the only factor impacting employee retention. So effective leadership and management practices are critical. Employees are more likely to stay if they have trust and confidence in their supervisors and feel that they're treated fairly. Conducting regular performance reviews and feedback sessions to address employee concerns and development needs quickly, and recognizing achievements and discussing career development goals. So maintain an open door policy where employees feel comfortable providing feedback and discussing concerns with management at any time. So employee engagement is a significant factor for employee retention. So job satisfaction is closely tied to their overall happiness and motivation to stay with an organization. And check in with your staff regularly to ensure morale is high. Regularly recognize and celebrate employee achievements through awards, shout-outs, and special events, and utilize peer-to-peer as well as leader-to-employee recognition. Offer small incentives to employees who go above and beyond in their roles, and organizations that engage employees through regular communication and feedback are more likely to retain their workforce. So the relationships employees have with their colleagues can significantly impact their decision to stay. Positive team dynamics and a strong coworker relationships can enhance job satisfaction. Invest in the team building activities to build that synergy. So with career and professional development, opportunities are essential. So employees are more likely to stay if they see a clear path for advancement, skill development, and training within the organization. Prioritizing internal promotions and provide the necessary training and support to help employees advance their careers within the company. Show your employees you're invested in their future, offering regular workshops, seminars, and training sessions whenever possible to help employees enhance their skills and stay up-to-date trends. And so these types of sessions can be done, and they're not necessarily expensive external programs. If you have groups within the organization with specialized skills, like hosting lunch and learns for other divisions of the organization to attend and learn more about other departments is a great way to offer that a transfer of knowledge, understanding of different departments, but also for that development of internal talent. So mentorship programs, implementing these mentorship programs whenever possible, and where experienced employees can guide the newer team members to foster professional growth and development. So job security is important. Economic stability and job security are essential factors, especially during uncertain times. This is where career mapping and professional development within the organization plays a big role in providing that job security. And then lastly, company culture has a big impact on retention. The alignment of an organization's culture with an employee's values and beliefs is crucial. A positive and inclusive culture can significantly impact an employee's decision to stay or leave. Create a supportive environment with mental health as a priority, and ensure mental health resources are in place, such as wellness programs that include mental health resources and healthy workplace initiatives to support employee well-being. Promote a healthy work-life balance by encouraging employees to take regular breaks, use their vacation time, and avoid excessive overtime. Ensure the workplace environment is clean, safe, and comfortable. Factors like office workplace design, ergonomics, and access to resources can affect an employee's well-being and job satisfaction. So workplace health and safety includes workplace mental health, and it plays a critical role within company culture and are integral to employee retention. So next, we'll continue our discussion by focusing on workplace mental health and psychological safety.
Great. So we have some statistics to share to show the prevalence, mental health is having on our workforces today. So the Mental Health Commission of Canada reports 70% of Canadian employees are concerned about psychological health and safety in their workplace. 1 in 5 Canadians experience a psychological health problem or illness in any given year, and 35% of all employed Canadians indicate they're burnt out. Furthermore, 39% of employees have been prepared by their employer to deal with their job psychological demands. 46% of them say they receive feedback that helps them grow, and 48% of employees feel that they're given time to participate in training, so all less than half. When we are talking about psychological health, what it is, it's a state of well-being in which individuals realize their abilities. They can cope with the typical stresses of life. They can work productively, and they're able to make contributions to their community. So, the Canadian Mental Health Association has identified 13 workplace factors that can have an impact on mental health at work. So, what they are is organizational culture. So, having a culture that's characterized by trust, honesty, and fairness. Having psychological and social supports in place. So, a work environment where coworkers and supervisors are supportive of the employee's psychological and mental health concerns and that they respond appropriately when needed. Organizations that have clear leadership and expectations. So there's effective leaderships and support that help the employees know what they need to do and how their work contributes to the organization. Having organizations with civility and respect. So work environments where employees are respectful and considerate in their interactions with one another, as well as with customers and clients and the public. Psychological competencies and requirements. So work environments where there's a good fit between the employees' interpersonal and emotional competencies and the requirements of their position. Places where there's growth and development. So employees are receive encouragement and support in the development of their interpersonal, emotional, and job skills. Organization where there's recognition and rewards in place. So a work environment where there's appropriate acknowledgement and appreciation for the employee's efforts, and that's done in a fair and timely manner. There's involvement and influence. So where employees are included in discussions about how their work is done and how important decisions are made. There's workload management. So the work environment has where tasks and responsibilities can be accomplished successfully and within the time frame that's available. There's engagement, so work environments where employees feel connected to their work and they're motivated to do their job well. And also that there's balance. So there's recognition of the need for balance between the demands people have with work, family, and their personal lives. And the last two talk about protection. So there's psychological protection in place. So the work environment supports employees' psychological safety, and then it also supports their physical safety. So when we look at this, we need to look at psychosocial hazards and what they are in the workplace. So employers have seen that it's important to address these psychological safety factors in the workplace because they do have a significant impact on employee performance and retention. So the awareness of mental health challenges, as that continues to grow, so will the number of WCB claims that are related towards psychological mental health. So a recent study shows that WCB psychological injury claims comprise 50% of the top 20 claim categories. So when they looked at the top 20 categories, 50% of them were related to psychological health and safety. So occupational health and safety legislation in Alberta does require employees to identify not just those physical hazards in the workplace, but also the psychosocial hazards that exist. And once those psychosocial hazards are identified, employers need to work to either eliminate them, and if they can't be eliminated, they must work to control them so that employees are aware of what they are and what exists at work. Psychosocial hazards are defined as elements of the work environment, management, or organizational practices that pose a risk to mental health and well-being of employees. So things that would be included here would be things like harassment, workplace violence, role ambiguity, increased job demands, an unequal distribution of work, and unclear expectations. And I'm sure as many of you are aware, WCB cases can be costly and take a lot of time and energy to manage. So trying to avoid them at all costs is really critical. When we look at psychological hazards in the workplace, as I mentioned, OHS has determined that they need to be identified because there are many benefits to identifying and eliminating the hazards if that's possible. So the benefits would include workers and experience an increase in physical safety when they feel they are safe mentally. They experience increased productivity. The organization will have decreased sick leave and long-term disability. There will be increased morale and job satisfaction, decreased turnover, interpersonal conflict, and of course, those WCB claims, and a decreased legal risk. So if psychological health in the workplace is prioritized and addressed, there will be a direct impact on employee retention, employee performance, and then the overall organizational culture. Our next slide here has a tool that is provided by the Alberta government, and they're showing what a hazard assessment process could look like. There's also a QR code on this slide where you can scan and learn more about this topic. The government has an OHS starter kit that's a great place to begin if you don't have OHS elements currently in place. At Salopek, we also have workplace violence and harassment prevention policy templates on our website that are available to purchase and download, and it's a great place to get started if you don't have these things in place currently. And then our last slide here shows the Canadian Mental Health Association website. They also have a toolkit of resources, including this checklist, which can help your organization start developing a strategy for workplace mental health. So things that you could look at here, things you might already have in place, or maybe you'd want to consider putting in place would be things like a policy on accommodation, a broad corporate policy stating your commitment to mental health, making sure you have anti-bullying and harassment policies in place. Those are required by OHS. Staff code of conduct policy, the Occupational Health and Safety Committee or representative in place, depending on the size of your organization, and an employee assistance program or employee and family assistance program to really support your employees and their families with those mental health related issues. So there's more listed here and another QR code, which is an additional great resource and a good place to start for organizations. And with that, I'll turn it back to Kate to conclude our session today.
Thanks, Janyce. So we've talked about a lot today. I know that this was a really full hour of a lot of information. It's a competitive labor market, and putting an intentional strategy in place for the attraction, recruitment, and retention of employees is critical. So in the past hour, we've talked about innovative recruitment strategies, defining your employer brand, optimizing the candidate experience, and the living wage. For retention, we talked about factors that affect employee retention and mental health at work, including psychological safety. So before we leave, I'd like to remind the group that those members that are the local chamber members also have access as Alberta Chamber members to some additional member benefits through Salopek Associates. So this includes a free 1-hour consultation to understand your needs, 15% off our HR e-store, which includes over 75 HR documents, policies, and manuals and guides available for download. And there's also preferred pricing available for chamber members on HR consulting services, which we provide ad hoc support and also long-term fractional support as well. So you can call us only when you need, or we can work on projects within your budget. So the download code is just listed on the slide here as well, the ACC 15% off. So now we can take any additional questions that the group may have. I'm not sure if there's anything that might have been added in the chat. And if you do have a couple of minutes, there's a QR code on the screen just to scan and provide your feedback on our session today. And if there's any other future topics that you'd like to hear more about, please feel free to include that in your survey response. So if there's any questions, feel free to pop it in the chat. And then Heather, I saw you jump back on. I'm not sure if there's any that might have come through.
It looks like Alyssa is typing something here, although, oh, will you get a copy of the recording? So yes, we've recorded the meeting and we should be, barring any technical difficulties, be able to send that on to the attendees, yes. Samantha had a hand up question.
I think I recognize everyone here, but I'll just throw in that MH Enterprises Employment Services has some wage subsidy options for new hires for local businesses in our 4 different programs. So if you ever want more information, get in touch and we can see, if there's a match there.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Because there's so many programs available to employers, I think, in those different wage subsidy opportunities. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Heather Little, would you add any other notes on tactic strategy for seasonal recruitment and employees?
So seasonal recruitment, definitely one more added challenge. I think from having a clear strategy and working proactively would be one piece, and looking at opportunities to rehire your seasonal employees season to season. So oftentimes where, let's say, the students are potentially your summer hires, being able to retain those like good performing seasonal employees and have them potentially even locked in advance for the following season, so that you're able to rehire a certain portion of those seasonal employees year over year. Janyce, is there anything addition that you wanted to add there as well?
Yeah, lots of times the schools, universities, colleges, high schools will have career fairs that they'll have in place sort of as we're nearing the end of the school term. So, kind of looking to see what might be on the radar coming up, and attending those would be really great, because that is a good, obviously, pool to tap into is the students, because they'll likely have the same season as you do. So.
For sure. There's also other, like, if you can look at really tailored perks to attract that seasonal employee. So really understanding who is your demographic, who is that candidate that would be attracted to that seasonal role, and looking to see if you could have like retention incentives to keep them for that full season and to have them come back the year after, whether that's even potentially bursaries or scholarship opportunities, if, let's say, you're dealing with students.
Excellent. I don't see any other questions, but just a shout out to any of those that are on the meeting that haven't signed up for our job fair, which is taking place March 22nd. The Chamber and Travel Drumheller have partnered together, and that was part of this. The presentation was to lead into our job fair that will take place in a couple of weeks. So if you're looking for more information on the job fair, Heather Little or myself would be the ones to contact, unless Heather wants to throw in the web link. I don't have it handy, but yes. Thank you, Janyce. Kate provided an abundance of information and tips and things to consider as we try to recruit, whether it's for seasonal or full-time permanent employees or what have you. So I appreciate all the information you've shared. And again, as a value-added partner of the Chamber members can access your services. So there, Heather has popped in the link. So with that, unless there's any other questions, I don't see any hands raised. We can probably conclude, and it's 1 o'clock on the dot.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a
you.
great afternoon.